Hi everyone, it's Wendy from Cinnamon Sweet Shop, and today I'm going to be doing a clean eating cinnamon bun recipe. I haven't done a clean eating recipe in a little while. To make this, you're going to need whole wheat flour. Now this is not whole wheat pastry flour like I normally use, it's a whole wheat flour, easily available in any store. Some salt, I always use my sea salt. Almond milk I have, but you can use any milk you want. You can use soy milk, rice milk, even cashew milk, or regular milk if you're not vegan, or if you don't, or not lactose intolerant, if you don't mind that. Stevia. I have some coconut oil here, which I'm going to be melting. Cinnamon, yeast, make sure it's fresh yeast. Some maple syrup. Now for the icing on the top, I have yogurt. This is plain Greek yogurt, more stevia, and more maple syrup. We are also going to need a little bit more cinnamon and coconut oil that we're going to fill the cinnamon rolls with. So grab up your ingredients and come on right back. Now the first thing I always do, and I hope you all do this too, is I wipe down my work area, because there's nothing like cleanliness. In bowl number 1, I'm going to add all of the dry ingredients. So I have the yeast, the flour, and this is a smaller bowl. I'm going to save the bigger bowl for the wet ingredients. But here I have the flour, the stevia, and the cinnamon. Give it a quick mix around. And in bowl number 2, I'm going to add all the wet ingredients. Now you want to make sure your coconut oil is not too hot. At a lukewarm temperature would be the best temperature to keep it at. Maple syrup and the almond milk. And give that a quick stir around. Now I'm going to add half of the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. Again, give that a quick stir. Then I'm going to add the remaining ingredients. And when it's mostly mixed in, but not quite, that's when I'm going to take my clean hands and I'm just going to mix the rest in with my hands. Now on a lightly floured surface, I'm going to knead my dough for about 1 to 2 minutes. In a lightly greased bowl. Now I grease this with coconut oil, but you could grease it with flaxseed oil or any other clean, neutral tasting oil that you might have on hand. Put the dough in there, and I'm going to cover it with a towel, or you could cover it with some plastic wrap. And I'm going to let it sit for about an hour and a half until it doubles. Keep this in a warm part of your house. I'm going to just punch this down a little bit just to release the gases. I'm going to roll this out into a very thin rectangle, roughly about 1/4 inch thick. I mixed together some coconut oil, some cinnamon, and some coconut palm sugar, and I'm just going to mix it real well. And I'm going to pour it around and just with the pastry brush just smooth it all out. So guys, I switched over to a spatula because I found it a lot easier to smooth across without making as much of a mess. And after I do that, notice I'm leaving about 1 inch around the perimeter of the sides. And what I'm going to do next, I'm just going to roll this up from this angle, the long side facing me. Try and get a little bit tight in there. Just by pushing down a little bit, just to make it stick in there. And you'll see you have a log here. And I'm going to just cut them about 2 inches apart. And in a greased pan, let's just place them next to each other. And I'm going to bake these in a 350-degree oven for about 25 minutes. Pull these out of the oven, they're nice and golden brown. And I'm going to let them cool for a bit. And in the meantime, I'm going to make my icing glaze. So I have my maple syrup and I have my stevia. And I'm just going to add to it the Greek yogurt. And mix it together real well. Now you'll notice that the glaze that I'm using is a little bit on the cocoa color side. Not cocoa color, but it's more of an off-white. If you want, you can use a honey instead of a maple syrup. Not only would it be a little bit lighter, but it'll have more of a honey flavor if that's what you prefer. I'm just going to go and pour it, drizzle it on top. And there you have it. So you'll notice when I baked these, or when I cut them, I made a few that were a little bit smaller, and that's because sometimes I just like to have a little taste of it, just a little small bite size rather than a full cinnamon roll. And you know, these are little tiny ones anyway, which is really good because you could always take 2. And if you take 2, you're still not eating a really large one. If you like to add some nuts on top, that's fine as well. I'm going to taste one of these right now, but I want you to remember, for this recipe, for all the other recipes, make sure you go to cinnamonsweetshoppe.com. I have it linked below, and subscribe to this channel, and feel free to let me know how your cinnamon rolls came out.